subscribe. Hello everyone, and welcome to a new video where we will continue discovering information about all the dinosaurs. Also, just like in previous videos, we will use the Amazing Dinosaurs book. I have also decided that in each of the videos, we are going to get to know or talk about a rare dinosaur. We always tend to talk about the same dinosaurs, but we are going to discover new types. For example, today we will talk about this dinosaur whose scientific name is Coelophilus. We have the name at the top. It tells us that it was a carnivorous dinosaur whose diet was based on reptiles, amphibians, and flying insects. Its name means hollow form. As you can see, it was quite slim, since it could weigh up to a total of 28 kilos. It could reach about 3 meters in length and 1.5 meters in height. As you can see, its neck was slightly long and its mouth was full of teeth. Although they weren't very big, as you can see, they were quite sharp. So it could eat the meat it brought to its mouth. It was bipedal and its front legs had only 2 fingers, just like the great Tyrannosaurus Rex. Alright, now let's start taking out all these types of dinosaurs. We have both herbivores and carnivores. First, let's start with a herbivorous dinosaur. As you can see, this one is characterized by the shape of its skull. It is the famous Pachycephalosaurus. Its skull was as hard as a rock, and it used it defensively by giving powerful headbutts. In addition, it also used to engage in battles against other members of its own species. It also had horns or spikes on the back of its head. It was bipedal, and like other herbivorous dinosaurs, it had a strong beak for digging in the ground in search of food. As you can see, it also had a long tail. Let's see which one is next. What do you think? Speaking of the famous Tyrannosaurus Rex, I'm sure you all know a lot of information about it. I also really like this little figure because of its colors. It comes in fire red and also with a lot of golden details. It had a huge jaw, and just its head could reach more than 1.5 meters in length, with a total of 60 sharp teeth. As you know, it was a bipedal dinosaur. Its front legs were very small, and here in this figure, we're already seeing a big mistake. Look, it comes with front legs that have 3 fingers on each one. However, we all know that the Tyrannosaurus Rex only had 2 fingers, so this is a mistake in the figure. It's good that we can appreciate all these details. Let's continue with another one. How about we take a look at the great Triceratops, one of the most famous dinosaurs there is. Throughout history, many fossil remains of this type of herbivorous dinosaur have been found. It fed on plants, leaves, and grass, and had 3 large horns on its head. The 2 upper horns could reach more than 1 meter in length. Its skull was shaped like a crown, and it was also a quadrupedal dinosaur. This specimen of Triceratops could easily face a large Tyrannosaurus Rex or any other big carnivore, especially because Triceratops usually lived in herds. Therefore, when a carnivore came to attack, they would all group together to defend themselves, so their unity made them stronger. Let's continue with another carnivorous dinosaur. This time, we have one of the oldest and longest-lived ones. It lived during the Jurassic period, more than 155 million years ago. According to paleontologists, it was one of the first large carnivores that were discovered. As you can see, it was characterized by the large crests it had on its head. Also, an interesting detail is that depending on the shape of the crests, you could tell if it was a male or a female. It had a large jaw, could reach about 6 meters in length and approximately 2 meters in height, which means it was a bit taller than an average human. In addition, it had a jaw that wasn't too large, but with very sharp teeth. It was also bipedal, and it used its front legs to grab meat and eat it. Look, one of the legs has fallen off. And that's because these little figures, as you know, are the kind that we can put together and take apart. Let's see, I'm going to try to put it back on. I finally did it. It took me a little while, and now we're going to do something really fun. What do you think? If we create a dinosaur combination, we can take the head off this carnivorous dinosaur and swap it, for example, with the Triceratops. What do you think? We just have to swap their heads. And look! What a strange mutant dinosaur. We ended up with a Triceratops head on a bipedal carnivorous dinosaur. And now we're going to do the opposite. We'll put the Triceratops body on this carnivorous dinosaur. Look how weird it looks, but I love it because we can create mutant dinosaurs and make hundreds of combinations. We'll leave these here and continue with a different one. This time, we have a long-necked dinosaur. This is a Brachiosaurus, a giant among giants that lived on planet Earth during the Jurassic period, more than 200 million years ago. Its head was very small compared to the rest of its body. Currently, we have a mammal called the giraffe, which also has long neck bones. Although giraffes are not as large as the ancient long-necked dinosaurs. Let's continue with another impressive dinosaur. This is a feathered dinosaur called Pyrroraptor. Look, can we open its jaw? Because it also fed on meat? It had long feathers, especially on the back of its head and on its bushy tail. Impressive, right? It was a really cool dinosaur, and I also really like the colors on this figure. Here's another one. We still have a lot of dinosaurs left to discover. Over here, we have another very famous dinosaur. It's the great Stegosaurus, known for the large bony plates on the top of its body. Its head was also very small compared to the rest of its body, and it was a quadruped, although its hind legs were slightly larger than its front legs. In addition, this dinosaur had large spikes on its tail, although we don't see them here in this figure. So it might not be a Stegosaurus, and could be another dinosaur from the same family, one that didn't have spikes on its tail. I don't know, friends. Maybe one of you does? I'll look for more information about this type of dinosaur. Let's continue with another herbivorous dinosaur. This one is one of my favorites. It's the great Ankylosaurus. It had a powerful defensive tail swipe, swinging its tail from side to side to defend itself from predators. Its whole body was like a big suit of armor. The upper part was almost unbreakable. It had very thick skin and was also covered with spikes all over the upper part, as well as on the sides of its head. Here's another one. What do you think? How about we look at a big carnivore with a large crest? We already know that it was a large Spinosaur. It could reach about 16 meters in length. Also, the Spinosaur loved to dive into the water, which is why it also really liked to eat marine animals. Normally, it would submerge its whole body so that the animals wouldn't see it, allowing it to hunt more effectively. Also, its jaw was quite long and wide, with very sharp teeth. As I was telling you, it would submerge its whole body, but it would leave this large spine crest exposed. That's why it was also called the sail dinosaur. We'll leave it here, and let's get to know these two little Velociraptors. Some carnivorous dinosaurs that, although they weren't very big, were able to catch large prey, since they hunted in packs or groups. Here we have two examples of them, one in light blue and another in purple and green, with some touches of black as well. I think I like this one here more. Look. They also had a jaw full of very sharp teeth. Also, they were dinosaurs that could run at high speed and use their long tail to change direction from right to left. And we have one last dinosaur left to discover. It's a Parasaurolophus. It lived on planet Earth during the Cretaceous period more than 65 million years ago. But, as you can see, it was characterized by the horn it had on the back of its head. It used it to make sounds and used it to communicate with the rest of the herd, especially when a predator came to try to attack them. And now, friends, we have finished today's video. Here, we have all the dinosaurs we have learned about. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this, you can help me by giving me a super like, a thumbs up, and I invite you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. This way, you help me to keep creating content for all of you. And now, it's time to say goodbye. See you in the next video with more amazing dinosaurs. Goodbye, sending you a big kiss.
Mwah.